As you are listening to Legal Advice with Rabia and Samia from Bond Adams, and at Bond Adams we provide clear legal advice on immigration, on litigation matters, wills and probate, and property conveyancing. And today we are talking about conveyancing. So Rabia, going back to our discussion earlier on, do I have to get a solicitor for my property purchase or sale?
It is recommended that you do get a solicitor, whether you're selling or buying. This is more to cover your tracks and obviously show that there's a paper trail, whatever you're dealing with. Majority of it is to do with the financing, and it also puts the lender at peace. Obviously, there's legal advice involved, and the right steps have been carried out. Doing fraud checks on clients where they're selling, bankruptcy if they're buying. So there are legal steps that we need to take due diligence. So it is recommended that you go for a solicitor when dealing with conveyancing.
Now, a question has been asked. Can you act for both buyer and the seller?
It varies on each case. We get transactions where there are families related, so a father's buying from son or daughter. Do you get me? So stuff like that. Situations like that, we would not act for families. However, if there's, say you were selling and I wanted to buy from you, we will act based
for
on
both
that
parties.
case, and we're not related, but we have to consider obviously if it's been sold at market value or under market value. Especially when it comes to families, if you are selling it under market value, we wouldn't act for both parties, and we normally recommend one of the sides to go and get legal.
And what happens if I want you to act for the sale of my property and also for the property that I'm purchasing? So can you actually act for the sale and for the purchase?
Yeah, we can do that. So we always, that's very common. We do that all the time, and also we look if there's a chain involved. What I mean by chain is if the seller is also selling and buying, and the buyer, so it carries down. So these are things that we need to look at, and obviously when we have a chain, we need to have all the parties involved, that we all on the same track, and we need to agree to same exchange and completion date. And when it comes to a chain, we tend to exchange 3 days prior to completion and then complete on transaction.
So when should I instruct a solicitor in my transaction? Does it happen at the start or once I've got my mortgage?
Again, we've had different cases. I've had clients that only want to instruct us once they have their mortgage in place. And obviously once the mortgage is in, we would go ahead, instruct the searches, and start raising inquiries in the meantime. But we have also had clients who see a property, they put their offer in, it's been accepted, and whilst they're trying to get their mortgage offer sorted, they will tell us to go and instruct the searches. So again, it all depends on the client and their situation.
And do I need to get my mortgage in first before I look at properties, or do I get the property offer in, instruct my solicitors, and then apply for my mortgage?
We would obviously recommend to get the mortgage in place to see how much the bank will lend you, what you can afford, if you will go in negative equity. But again, it all depends on different people. We've had clients that obviously go ahead and instruct us. Later on, they find out that they don't have enough funding. That's when we get refinance in place, or people start looking at a gift. So this can be members of your family or friends that want to gift towards the purchase. But when it does come to gifting, we also have to let the lender know that the client is now receiving a gift of so-and-so and by who. And again, to protect the bank and ourselves, we have to get the client and the giftors to sign paperwork, declaration stating that obviously they are given a share in the property, but they will not be equity. They won't have any equity in the property or any occupational rights. So, yeah, so we do have to protect our client at all costs.
And if it's my first property and I am currently renting a property, do I know when to give my notice in for my rented property to actually move into my new house?
When it comes, this is very common again. We have clients who chafe us and say we need to give the landlord a notice. So when can we complete? We can't really recommend or give any advice to when to hand your notice in because we don't want to be held against that. But as soon as obviously we know that the inquiries have now been responded to and we can look to finalise, as soon as the completion date has been agreed, we would obviously say you can hand your notice in now and look to move out. But until a completion date's not been agreed, we won't recommend anything. And again, completion dates can always change. We've had transactions that we're ready to complete, but on the day we've had one of the parties saying that we haven't got removals sorted or they've had any other issue. So again, we can't really rely on anything, and it's just a risk that sometimes people take.
Thank you very much, Rabia. That's very informative. Now I understand the property transaction and what it actually involves. You have made it really easy. Dear listeners, you are listening to Radio Seerah. You're listening to a legal show with Bon Adams. I'm Samia, and together with my colleague Rabia here. At Bon Adams, we provide legal advice on a range of different departments, different matters on immigration, property, litigation, wills and probate. And our contact number is 0116 285 8080.